Hello and welcome to the Valley Soup. I'm J. Max Hurley.
And I'm Grant Musser, and this week in the Stew, we'll be talking about our newly founded broadcasting club.
Tasty!
So today in our first ever podcast produced here in our studio, we're pretty excited, I'd say for myself.
Jay, I think that this is a great thing we got going on here. Just considering the fact that we have so many of these things that we can use around here. We have MacBooks, we have, Mac computers, and we have Mevo and stuff. And I think it's a great way to show what we are really able to do here at Juniata Valley.
Yeah, it's pretty cool thinking that, a small school like us can produce stuff that can be really seen or listened to around the world on YouTube. And I'd like to give a lot of credit to everyone involved to helping us create this space for us. I mean, throughout the summer, Devin Deal, Garrett Funk, Tristan Henderson, Nolan Rehart, and Quinn Zanoble worked here at the school during the summer, and they all helped with the process of cleaning this out, which was filled. This room that we're sitting in was filled with junk. They approximate about 2 tons of junk coming out of this room throughout the summer.
Inside this room, and these doors were huge. They were 500 pounds at least.
Yeah, I've certainly heard a lot of stories coming from that day when they moved all those doors out of here.
Yes.
So our studio just actually today was the first day that we could say it's 100% set up. I mean, we have everything the way we want it. Grant and I are sitting with our back up against the wall. We have a table here set up with our 2 tabletop mics. We purchased them, probably a couple weeks ago, and Grant, I really think they were the best investment we've made.
I can't argue with that. Besides these 2 chairs we're sitting on, because these are probably 2 of the most comfortable chairs I've sat in while here at Juniata Valley. But yeah, otherwise, and the iMacs, those are, I know we already had those, but those are just great computers that our school hasn't used for a while, and I just personally love working with them. So
yeah, and they're really slick. I mean, I'm not familiar with them, but just learning so far this year has been fun. I mean, the capabilities that they give us are just endless. I mean, we can do anything we want. And that's where we're actually recording onto the iMacs right now on a podcasting app. And from our mics, we're going out into a little mixer. It's a Yamaha mixer. I'm looking at it. There's, I believe, 6 inputs, and I don't know if there's 1 or 2 outputs, I'm not sure. But our man manning that mixer is Caden Rupert. He has the headset on, and he's checking our audio levels and making sure everything's going pretty smoothly.
we also have this handy-dandy teleprompter right in front of us that's helping us remember what we're supposed to be talking about today, although I am pretty pumped up and I knew what we'd be talking about. We have Garrett Funk manning that. He has done a great job just sitting here while we were talking of him bringing it all together.
And it's pretty cool. He's manning this teleprompter with a Raspberry Pi. And for those of you who don't know what they are, it's basically a computer that's just a little box. And the little box is connected to the TV. And from that, Garrett can do anything you would normally do on a computer just looking at the TV, and it's set up in front of us.
And we have our setup man, Nolan Rehart, like we said earlier. He's one of the big guys who moved the doors. He's been setting up a lot of things here, helping Mr. Wakefield out a lot. So we'd like to thank him for getting that all set up for us. It really helps us out.
Yeah, he's certainly done a lot around here, and it's been greatly appreciated by us. And I'm looking around here, and there's a lot of empty space still, and we're hoping to get a green screen set up behind us. So if we do a morning show or any kind of thing we'd like to do and produce, we'll have a green screen. And
yeah, we've had some people tell us that while doing our interviews and stuff, we've had a blank wall behind us, and they've told us, get something on that. So now we'll be able to put something together if you're behind us during those not podcasts, but during those interviews and morning shows
yeah.
that I think will really set us apart from some other places that I know I've seen.
Yes, and
do
we
these
can.
Things.
When we record this, we'll just throw that recording into iMovie, and we have many different people that are eager to learn and have already learned how to use it to produce anything we like. So, and again, I'm pretty sure we've covered everything here in the studio, but I can see some of our live streaming equipment. And what we've been using for, well, not quite a year now. It'll probably be a year and a couple months.
Kind of about a month or so.
Yeah. We've used it's a camera. It's called Mevo. And with this Mevo, we've been able to live stream our basketball games up to this point.
Yeah, and up to this point, like we said, we'd be doing basketball games, but last year we were also able to get in a couple assemblies, graduation, and
Yes, yeah.
I thought that was nice. Not going to graduation, I was able to watch it and see some of my friends
Same here, I was not able to attend.
Yeah, some of my friends who were graduating and now are at college, I got to see them graduate, and I thought that was nice.
Yeah, and so there are many problems with the Mevo. We've had, when we're here at home on our own property, it seems to work very well because you connect your camera to the Wi-Fi, then you connect an iPad to the Wi-Fi, and everything runs very well, and it's very nice to use. Grant, you've used it yourself.
Yes.
And it's pretty user-friendly and all, and rather cheap for what it is.
I'd like to say that I came in to using this Mevo, and I got about a 10-minute crash course on it, and I was able to use it for a whole game, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was very fun to work with.
Yeah. And so what we ran into is, we can only do so many things with this Mevo. And as much as we're ahead of other schools, and I'm sure they'll catch up once they see us, what we're doing.
Yes.
But eventually we were going to hit a wall. And I think we did this year when we decided, hey, how hard would it be to get Wi-Fi to our press box so we could do football games, baseball games, potentially softball games. And so we looked into it, and after some heated debates, we decided that purchasing a Wi-Fi bridge and setting it up so it shoots the Wi-Fi from our school down to the press box. And I'd like to thank Rod LaCrone and Jay Hurley in their efforts to help set that up. And so we were able to actually broadcast, for the first time ever, a home football game a couple weeks ago against Mount Union.
And I would like to shout out my fellow host here, Jay Max. He did a great job announcing that game. I personally listened to it right after the game because I wanted to watch some of the film. And I thought that it was a great job done by Jay. And I was honestly so impressed by what we were able to do with that. Usually you don't hear about getting games down to a football field that is, hundreds of feet away from your football field. So I thought it was absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see what else we can do with that.
And Grant, you're not alone there. I mean, while we were setting it up, many people came up to us and were like, hey, what in the world are you doing? And once we explained what we're doing, they were just amazed at what we were able to do. And we're like, well, you just wait, because we have bigger plans in the making. And those plans are very, very soon. And I mean, we're talking within days of coming true. And so what we hope to do is purchase a production switcher. And so what this does is it gives us the capability of using multiple cameras, very high-tech cameras, and so we can have a sideline camera and a camera from the press box and a camera from a goal line, anything you can imagine. And we could also hook up our phones. So if you have an iPhone, I believe it only supports iPhones, you can have a sideline interview with a coach at halftime. There's so many different things we could do with this. And we actually found a pretty cheap alternative to the live streaming company, and we're really, really excited about it.
I think I'm also more excited about the things we'll be able to do while we do our morning show. Now we can have someone sit away from us, and we can say, now let's go over to the sports desk, and we'd be able to get a sports interview going and a sports section going, go over to a weather desk, do something with that. And I think that's what I'm more excited about, Jay.
Well, yeah, and that that is really cool because with the Mevo, the only thing we could do is move the camera, which, you know, it's possible, but it kind of looks very low production standard. You know, it's just not pleasing to the eye. And so we're hoping that we'll get figured out before our last home football game. That would be my personal goal. And if that were to happen, that would just be amazing because we'll have a crew of at least 4 people producing this game to YouTube.
And I think that if we could get it done by the last home football game, that'd be amazing because that's our homecoming. So I believe that it'd be great. We could have some interviews with some homecoming court and stuff like that. So I think that's a great way to do it because I don't know if everyone knows this year, but this year we'll be having homecoming, our last home football game, and we'll be having senior night the week before. So.
And again, with senior night, I mean, that would give us a chance to interview all the seniors if we want to, or 1 or 2. You know, there's just so many different things. And football's not the only thing that we can do. With this new production switcher, we'd be able to do all home events. Now, we would be able to move it to away, but we just simply don't have the manpower to do that as of yet. And so along with the different cameras, and we're not talking little camcorders, we're talking upwards of $1,000 camera to use.
Real deal right there.
I mean, we're talking NFL. I mean, we're just going to be, ESPN's going to be calling us here in a couple days, I don't know. But we're also looking into GoPros, and I'm probably the most excited about the GoPro because that gives us the ability to, I mean, for those of you that don't know what a GoPro is, you can do on the go. I mean, that's that cool. And for basketball games, baseball, wrestling matches, volleyball, I mean, there's so many different opportunities to use these cool cameras and GoPros that we can make a simple basketball game where before we had one static view into 4 or 5 different cameras going into the game.
You know, different angles, like we said, different interviews. And then with that, we could also possibly give it to like a water boy or something like that. We could really get the up close and feel what it's like inside some of those huddles, like they do with NBA TV. So I believe it's just amazing. And I think it's just something that is going to make Juniata Valley really unique. And I think it's going to bring a lot of more attention to our broadcasting group, our broadcasting club, and showing them, you know, we're a real deal. We mean business here.
And I think we're on our way to that. And not only sporting events. I mean, we can do chorus concert, band concert, any ceremony that we'd like to do. And with the GoPro, I mean, there's no reason we couldn't stick a GoPro on the head of someone singing a solo at a chorus concert. I mean, that would be like the view from the stage. You know, there's so many different things. And it's just so exciting to think about.
Yeah, like just imagine seeing someone walking across the stage. I mean, that's just something that you couldn't really do before, and I think that's something that we are going to be able to do here now, and it's going to be really amazing. So
now, talking about the GoPro has made me think of the haunted school. Now,
I'm excited for that, Jay. Let me tell you, I did it last year, and that was a fun time.
Go ahead and explain, Grant, what it is to those of listeners that do not know what the haunted school is.
Well, last year we did a haunted school, and in that haunted school we had about 4 different rooms. We had a clown room because we knew that the movie It had just came out, and a lot of people were scared of those clowns. We had a slaughterhouse room, and we had a doll room, and we had an insane asylum room. And with those 4 rooms, what you did was you started in the slaughterhouse and you worked your way around. Well, this year we'll be having a clown room, a maze room, which if the weather is nice, we might be able to actually get down into a real maze, an insane asylum, and in a lab, a scientist lab. We'll have a haunted trail this year, which I said earlier. I mean, that's amazing too.
Yeah, I'm really excited about having an outdoor feature to that because with the time of day that this will be occurring late at night, we might get some fog or drizzle, you know, anything that would help would just add to that excitement.
We will have the 4D horror room too, that's crazy because if anyone knows what 4D means, that means that it's not just 3D. Now you'll be able to feel what's around you, feel and see other things, and that's crazy. The haunted hayride, which is family friendly, and that is a big deal because we know that last year we made it PG-13, but we had some people who were not 13. I know that they got scared, and now this gives an option to some of those parents who are worried about bringing their children this year.
Yeah, and I don't really think age has anything to do with it because I was 16 at the time, and I will never forget it.
Yeah,
I was terrified.
I know, as a scarer myself, I did a lot of scaring, and I found it extremely fun.
And so how this all ties into our broadcasting club is, and I believe this will be my personal job, is I'm going to stick a GoPro on me, and I will be moving about throughout both nights, where I'll either be scaring people and capturing it on camera, which would be really cool, or I'll be going through with many different groups and capturing their reactions and all kinds of stuff. And we'll also be able to very soon produce a haunted school commercial advertising the event to get the word out there and try to get more attendance than last year, even though last year turned out to be very successful.
Yes, we did make a lot of money last year, and that was amazing. It all went to charity.
Which is just a great, great thing that we do here. So moving on a little bit deeper into the wishing well, if you will, drones. Now, I'm very excited about drones. I'm not sure if it's going to happen or not, but we can only hope.
Yeah, we are extremely excited about these drones, and not just using these drones for things like the haunted hayride and the trail, but also for things like drone racing and stuff. Yeah,
and so here at the school we have a lot of space. Down behind our school there's trails, there's the nature center and football field. So we could host the big schools, your State College or your Altoona around us area, and I'm sure they'll be willing to come down here because we'll have a great track for our drones. And what's very interesting is we might be able to use them as the live streaming camera. So now I don't believe we'll get this for the football games, but if you could sit here, close your eyes, and imagine you're watching a basketball game and it cuts to a drone camera flying around over the court, or volleyball, or wrestling. Wrestling you could get up and close, and you can do all those kinds of things that would just look amazing.
Yeah, you'd be able to get the band shows and stuff that they do out on the field, and that's just amazing. That's truly amazing.
Yeah, and considering we're just a high school club, and this is the first year of the club. I mean, we only had one member when this school year started, and now we're up to over a dozen. So I'm really excited about the growth of the club and where we're going, and I'm really excited about this podcast.
Me too. I think to wrap it up here, we'd like to say that we will be making a Twitter page here soon. We will be answering questions, so just tweet at us.
We'll let you know what that is whenever we get to it. Probably in the next podcast, which I hope to be next week. I'm hoping to post a podcast every Friday. I know that some weeks that might be tough if we don't have school a day here or there, but I'm hoping that will be the plan. And we'll also be able to interview some people, hopefully get some maybe teachers on, maybe Mr. Estep, Mr. Zenoble, who knows. If we can find the time and it worked for them, we might have some exciting guests.
Coaches, athletes, band directors, band members, all of it. It's gonna be a good time.
Yes, it is. And so I really want to thank you for listening to the podcast up into this point. And obviously, if you're hearing this, you're still listening to it.
Yeah, I hope we did a good job, and we'd like to invite you back next week, and keep coming back to the Valley Soup, because we really do appreciate everything you guys do, and we want to keep showing you how we're getting better.
Yes, and so from J. Max Hurley and Grant Musser, this was the Valley Soup.